So you guys didn't see what just happened, but welcome again, Unscripted. We're back again here. I don't know if I should introduce him, or do you want to introduce yourself? Or
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Johnson.
that's the
Yeah,
man.
pleasure to be here.
That's the man. That single, same. We're gonna get into that.
Nice.
100%. Very, very, very unique. Very good melodically. It's a very, very good song.
Thank
As you can see today, Shegs is not here for unforeseen circumstances, but the show goes on. The show goes on. So, let's talk first, about the current climate we're in. We've just kind of officially come out of lockdown. What's the last year looked like for you?
Oh man, it's been an intense one. A lot of ups and downs, like with everyone, I suppose. It's been, I suppose the word is tumultuous. It's been interesting, man. Just another.
First time I heard that word, to be honest.
Really, yeah. It's been. I've seen it as an interesting catalyst for growth.
Yeah.
Like every situation in life. Yeah. Okay, just a little bit about me back in the day, or pre-COVID. So, what I also love to do, obviously music's my main passion, but I'm also a business developer.
Okay.
So I'll
That's
develop
dope.
hospitality businesses.
That's dope.
I used to manage a little live music venue, which is also a club as well in East London. I was also managing a private catering business. Anyway, I was doing a bunch of stuff.
That's dope. I
Yeah,
like
bits everywhere. And everything was going good. Music was
Yeah.
going good. I was gigging all the time. And then within about the space of a week, I had about 4 streams of income, or 5, including the music. It just stopped altogether.
Of course, yeah.
And that was just like, whoa, and at the time I was living in a nice flat in Shoreditch, like on Hackney Road between Shoreditch and Hoxton. And yeah, I was just like, man, can't be here anymore. Still expense, no
Yeah,
income.
of
So
course. Yeah.
straight away I had to move houses, which is the first major thing. When this whole thing hit, I had to move houses, find a place. I was living in Angel for a little while. Afterwards, I moved pretty much back exactly where I was before. It's because I love the Hackney area, even though I'm from South Philly. And yeah, just been back in Hackney since. It's been interesting. I mean, I've gone back to a lot of streams of, or ways of making money that, I was only doing when I was like 17, 18. I've had to go back to that because there's just the only thing going. But yeah, it's been cool. Been creating as always. Managed to get involved with a great studio. I was managing a studio called Pepper Street Studio for the first few months of this year. Just now they're just in the process of moving, finding a bigger studio. They're really cool. They're attached to a charity called Salute. Doing amazing stuff for young people and creatives in general, and people looking to get into creative and arts industries. So yeah, that's been cool. That's been more recently. But yeah, man, it's been a lot going on. I can't lie. It's tough to condense it all into an answer.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, like regarding creating as well, was it challenging in phases, or was it easy? Was there any change to how you kind of created?
Yes, actually, there was. So, like I said, when I realized I needed to move home, I was actually. So I had a business partner at the time. He was managing a restaurant on Brick Lane, and I set up a makeshift studio on their first floor because that wasn't being used. But basically, I bought all my gear. I bought my guitars, bought my MIDI keyboard. Bought a couple dumbbells.
Working out.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty much. It was it was just like a little space for me. So everything was there. All my music gear was there, microphone, laptop, all this stuff. So I was creating there for quite a while. I remember writing, producing, and mixing and also mastering a tune called Almond Eyes, or Almond Eyes. All within the space of a day up there, which was really cool. I hadn't done something like that before, all on my own. So yeah, it was really interesting. But yeah, I feel like I had bursts of creativity. Like some days and some weeks, I would just be like extremely creative, and other times I just, the inspiration wouldn't be there as much. But of course, you just always got to create through those gaps of inspiration. So yeah, it's been all right. It's been, I guess, just up and down as well. Before the pandemic, it was definitely a lot more consistent. But yeah, that consistency is slowly building itself back up.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Because obviously, as I've spoken to people in the last, well, since the beginning, like mid-pandemic till now, last year, up until, well, last year particularly, felt like two different years. Where the first 3 months was all normal, and then obviously what just came literally just took it was like a movie. I always just think it's like a movie, like
yeah, it was insane, man. Like it was just there was just a point where it just wasn't funny anymore.
Yeah,
and I think everyone knew at that point. It was like, oh wow, like we actually got
exactly.
switch up how we live drastically.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was an interesting one. The first 3 months was so great though.
Yeah.
First 3 months of 2020
I feel like everyone I've spoken to, this even for me, like the first 3 months was so good. So yeah, it's weird.
It was amazing, man. I mean, even it was just so light-hearted. Everyone was always, it was. I feel like the whole
Start a
atmosphere.
new decade as well.
Exactly. I feel like the whole atmosphere in general was just a lot more light-hearted, a lot more cheerful. And everyone was just like making jokes, and then everyone just started making jokes about Corona, and then all of a sudden,
exactly. I remember it now.
And then it just wasn't funny anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. Then you had people even protesting against the lockdown. Then we had fluxes of going in and out of lockdowns in the last year. Very, very mad. Very, very, very mad.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I know it's not really how it's meant to go, but what was it like for you? Like, what was going on?
For me, literally 2 weeks before lockdown hit in London, I was away with my missus on a holiday, and we were seeing, like you said, the memes. We saw people in London like, why are people in supermarkets and raiding toilet paper? It doesn't make any sense. But when we came back to London, like third week of March, I think, I still can't forget, obviously, because of the coincidence. It was that week where everything was locked down, and everything changed. I was as well as creatively doing this, I was working part-time, and I was on furlough, so I was at home. The missus working from home. It was very interesting. I mean, I wish he was here. Shagan, when I was speaking to him about it, we agreed that there were elements we missed, because life kind of slowed down over the last year. But however, just being stuck, being at home, not being able to do what not being able to get into like normal activities on a week-to-week basis, it kind of gets to you. As you said, it loses the staying-home element. You lose the enjoyment quite quickly. It was funny though, seeing some people get caught. I actually know a few people that nearly got in a bit of trouble, like housing parties and whatnot that they probably shouldn't have. But it was very interesting, and I agree with what you said, before, in terms of it being like an opportunity for growth.
Well, that sounds intense. So you basically got back, and it was just lock off.
Literally lock off. It's like, what is actually happening right now? Like this ain't normal. This ain't normal. But yeah, it caught everyone by surprise. And no one could have planned for something like that. Just hoping that there isn't another one around the corner.
Fingers crossed, bro.
But let's see, because Boris works in his own clock.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know what they say? Boris works in mysterious ways.
I like that one.
I made that up right now.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Come on.
I like that one. I like that. A few have been coming up with different like catchphrases for Boris simultaneously when they've come on. I like that one. I'll put that in the top 3. I'll definitely put that in the top 3. But yeah, let's get into the music, man. So first we need to talk about the song. The Same. How did that song, bro? It's awesome. When I first heard it, I don't know if some people have told you, it's such a unique sound, At first I was like, wait, what is this? Not necessarily in a bad way, but in the like, what what kind of category am I putting this music in? But the lyrics overlaid on top of the the instrumental and how it all kind of came together, bro. That's a tune, man. That's a tune. Like I don't know. Obviously, it's raining today, but I can play that. I don't know, driving or just in the background. It's a feel good tune. It's good, man.
Thank you, bro.
It's
I
really,
appreciate
really
that.
good, man.
Yes,
Really good.
I love
Link
it
will be in the
myself.
description as well. Don't worry.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's yeah, that was a really cool one. I remember my management sent over the beat, and I was like, "Yo, this is a dope one. I'm gonna jump on this." Worked to it just over a couple of days. Yeah, just
Wow, sounds easy. So you knew you were gonna kind of tackle it already.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a bit about my musical background. So I started playing the cello when I was 8. And I was classically trained for 8 years.
Wow.
I'll just give you a little timeline. So it was cello from
I saw the guitars on your the events and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I love it. Guitar's my main instrument now.
Okay.
And that was the first thing I did. So after I was playing cello for 8 years, getting lessons for 8 years, so up until I was 16. Started teaching myself guitar when I was 13. Started writing songs when I was 15. Started producing when I was 17. Started engineering when I was 19. When I was 21. Started managing a live music venue. And yeah, 23 is when I started managing a music studio. And yeah, here we are. Like, for me, I'm so obsessed, man. I'm so obsessed. I'm so thankful that it can actually be a profession and a stream of income. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Of course.
But yeah, good thing humanity appreciates music. I mean, how could we not? So I'm able to have the privilege of making a living doing absolutely what I love. I'm so obsessed with it, man. Like the way sounds in the real world and in the digital realm. I'm just like so fascinated the whole time. It's funny, I was saying this, I had a sold out gig in Shoreditch on Tuesday. It was really cool. And there was a little interview, or the host was like, "Hey, I want to ask you a couple questions after I performed." He was like, "So how'd you get into it all?" And I explained to the audience that for me, it's the fact that our field of perception when it comes to sound is 360 degrees, whereas with vision and sight, it's only 210, right?
Yes,
and that's what makes me feel like I receive a much clearer picture of my environment because of sound, because I can pinpoint exactly where a sound is coming from, whether it's behind me, whether it's in front, right?
That's a very unique perspective there, bro. No, it's cool.
I mean, it's wonderful. I'll chat about this for ages because there are 3 dimensions to sound as well. Obviously, you've got forward and back, which is just volume. Because if something's louder, it sounds. If something is closer, it sounds louder.
Of course.
Left and right, of course, we've got 2 ears, and up and down would be the frequency. So you can have a nice kick or bass at the bottom, and you can have some lovely female vocals or hi-hats at the top. Yeah, so that's how I conceptualize it.
He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, you know. I love it.
I'll geek out on this for hours, man. Someone's gonna stop me. Yeah, no, I just love it, man. Yeah, all the way from like playing instruments all the way up to engineering, man. I love it all.
I appreciate it, not to that extent, but I unfortunately I'm not in that level yet, maybe. But I appreciate the tech and the art of sound. And I've been appreciating it since the age of maybe, let's say, 16, 17. This was when I was in college, making my own money, and I bought my first Beats headsets. And at that time, like, it was being advertised that, you've never heard a song this way or that way. So I really do appreciate and look out, for those kind of details. In different forms and types of music, so I can relate in some way, and it's definitely appreciated. But you sound like you do everything, man. You're a jack of all trades, bro.
Well, I'm just so fascinated, man. I'm so fascinated. Like really and truly about me, I grew up pretty much alone indoors. I had pretty strict parents. I was always indoors. I was always like reading, learning, studying. I was such a massive nerd in school. I was always learning, because for me, learning is like, the best way to evolve whilst you're alive. And yeah, man, I always found solace and comfort in knowledge and being able to apply it, and how it allowed one's perspective to shift so drastically in terms of just how you see the world in general. And for me, that was always something I gravitated to because, it brought me a lot of comfort and joy. So I mean, like learning, I'm such a big nerd. Like I love reading. I'm always always reading as much as I can, whether it's about music, sound, or anything else I'm interested in. But I mean, for me, music is it really is everything. Like, everything is vibrations at the end of the day. And the only reason we can't hear absolutely every single object which is vibrating is because our ears aren't sensitive enough. So sometimes I fantasize and my imagination goes mad and I wonder what would all this sound like, I mean, it would be very low hum, but if we could actually hear the details in it, then it would be fascinating.
No, that's dope. I appreciate it. That's so cool. So in terms of like maybe music idols or people you looked up to, who are the guys or women?
Well, for me, growing up, I actually really liked. There was a group called Sixpence None the Richer. I liked a lot of chick flicks songs because we listened to that like going to amusement parks, me and my family.
Okay, fair enough.
Tracy Chapman, of course, Bob Dylan. The guy who really made me decide to be a musician because I was on track to becoming a doctor once upon a time.
I'm sure at some point all of us are. So you understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was such a big nerd as well. I was very close, but at last minute I was like, no, I just want to do music. Because of this, if I had to pinpoint a single artist, it would be this guy called Ben Howard. I heard his album called Every Kingdom, and I was just like, man, I gotta make music. But that was such a seminal album. Lauryn Hill, of course, that was the first CD I ever bought, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Bangers in there, seminal tunes, still pop till today. That's the kind of music I want to make, music that stands the test of time. And just I mean, a lot of even more recent artists now. I listen to quite a bit of Kendrick Lamar, quite a bit of everything actually. Even like a bit of dance music, like Carl Cox, a bit of house techno. Whenever I want to focus, I listen to a lot of psytrance, which is like. It's very, it's basically like trance music. It's very, very fast paced usually. And whenever I need to focus, because my mind works really, really quick, I feel.
So it's like it has to keep up with you.
Exactly. So the music gives me an immediate sense of urgency. Urgency. And it's just like, whatever you're doing, you have to do it to the best of your ability, and you have to do it urgently.
Right. That's the different side of the spectrum, because obviously some people will listen to calmer music, just to kind of not necessarily take their mind off what they're doing, but to kind of steady themselves.
Well, not me. I mean, when it comes to only when I'm focusing, obviously when I'm chilling, I love the lo-fi hip hop, and really one of the reasons I decided to start going down that route, especially after this whole year or so, is because it was, I mean, it's been pretty stressful the past couple of years, really, truly. And lo-fi hip hop was just really there for me to just be able to chill out and zone out of all the news, all the media stuff, all the just noise of pandemic stuff.
No, I understand.
It was just like a good way for me to just just reminisce about when times were, or when at least I could chill a bit more.
Exactly.
In terms of security of what's going to happen over the next few weeks. Because back then, literally, no one knew what was going on. It was like what's going to happen?
Exactly.
In a couple hours.
100%.
But that's why I gravitated to it, and I love that stuff now. More very chill, lo-fi hip hop joints on the way.
What part of the music process do you love the most?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You got time.
I love that. I love writing lyrics. I really do. I find it very exposing, and I love how it makes me. I love how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like I've just had a massive catharsis. I really, really love it.
Just before you carry on as well, just for me to interject, just for me to ask you a quick question before you answer that first question, initial question. Do you listen and then write, or write and listen? Because we've had a few artists on and they did different stuff.
You mean listen to like another song?
An instrumental.
Well,
and then you write?
It goes both ways, really. It goes both ways, because sometimes yeah, it really goes both ways. Because sometimes I'll hear an instrumental and I'm like, boom, I already got an idea for that. Or sometimes something I heard a couple years ago, maybe just a hi-hat pattern or a melody played on a flute. I'll be like, I wonder what that same melody sounds like with this little tweak, but on a violin.
Okay.
And if I use it as a side melody and then build everything else around
Yeah.
it. Yes, it tends to be quite extensive. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about creating space for sounds to reside. Yeah, I really love it, man. It's so cool. So for me, it really goes both ways. In most cases, like if my management give me a tune or an instrumental, most times it will be hit or miss. Sometimes I can actually be like, I'll listen to it over maybe 2-3 days, and on the second or third day, I'll be like, okay, cool, I think I got something for this because I just experienced something.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm like, okay, this is like, say a verse or like a hook I think is really wicked. I'm gonna just go, I'm gonna go with this, like read it a couple times and see what's the first chord that comes to mind, or melody, or drum pattern, or bass line.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, for me, what I really love, I really like producing. I can't lie, I love producing.
That's always something that's always fascinated me. You know, the likes of Dre and all those guys as well.
It's a wonderful art form, man. Because I mean, producing essentially is just adding layers. And one of my favorite quotes, I think it's from Herbie Hancock, is you never, you know, if you go to a concert, you'll never hear an audience member say, "Oh, that guy should have played more notes." Like, you know,
no, that's true. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So people's imagination always fills up the space.
Of course.
So I feel like the music should be like, just like, I don't know, maybe a banister down some really lovely stairs. You know, like a very nice spirally staircase, and you know, the music is just a banister that you hold people, you know, to, or that people are attached to as they go down this journey of, you know.
And then people go as far as they want to go.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for me, it's all about space. You know, where things are in terms of space, in terms of frequencies. When it comes to engineering, space in terms of time, of course. When you set tracks to trigger and sounds to trigger. And yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the most interesting things, especially when you're producing, is you hear the individual layers individually, of course, because you've made them individually. But when you play it, our mind intellectualizes it as one sort of source, and I don't know, for me it's just a different kind of space, because even like, because sound is so primal, it's just so it's so gripping. I don't know I don't know how to describe it.
I know where you're going.
I'm forever fascinated. So yeah, I mean, I would say, but then again, I think engineering is a close second. You know, I love the technical aspects because you can really
there are very few people that do that.
Really.
Well, at least from the people that I've spoken of that, you know, are creatively doing music in whatever aspect, especially like artistically in terms of being the rapper or the singer, there are few people that, you know, have at least some kind of grip on the engineering process.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important one. It's funny how I actually got into that. So I used to have a mentor, and for about 6 months I was sleeping on his couch when I was like 19 when I started, and yeah, he just gave me a really intense crash course on how to do it. We did some gigs together, like some recording performances. We recorded like choirs, all sorts of different kinds of music, and like jazz bands and stuff, like all sorts of different kinds of just sound in general. So that's why for me it's just like sound, and then genres are just like, you know, colors at the end of the day for me. But really, I like to paint the colorful masterpieces. So I think, you know, and that was very interesting for me to see how music is really just sound, but we just understand it in certain parameters, and when you can replicate those parameters, you can make music out of sounds. But of course, those parameters are ever changing. So yeah, for me that was a really interesting one. I love that because after that, I managed to start freelancing. So I was doing a lot of live stuff. I used to have an office in Cargo, in Shoreditch, questionable club. Well, actually, it is what it is. Interesting clientele, I'll say.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a fun one. Obviously, biggest club in Shoreditch was quite a nice spot. It was it was very intense back in the day.
Yeah.
And you know, my role was to be on call, not only at Cargo, so that's where the office was. That's where I'd usually be, but I'd be on call between about 20 other venues that company owned. And my job would be to fix engineering issues as they arose in real time. So we had a massive group chat, and they'd be like, "Hey, Jay, can you come over? Jump on my bike, head to the venue, be like, what's good? Fix the problem, go back to the office, boom, sorted." So yeah, you know, I create my life so that I'm always around music. Like the clout, the fame, all that stuff's good, but I just want the music. Like like that can all be over there, but just leave me with my music.
No, it's appreciated, and it's I think it's amazing in an authentic kind of way, because even one of the other artists that we had on, she was saying how in her free time she would be looking for, of course you don't have to be an artist to go to concerts, but her life, even outside of whatever she was doing, was always geared to that at the same time. So am I right to presume that only just makes the process easier, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely loved, you know, when I was managing that live music venue, it was amazing. Like we also had a lot of club nights, but at the end of the day, I was just always around music. Sometimes I step in if the sound engineer's double booked himself, you know, I just do my thing. I'm just always there around the music. So I just created my life so that I'm always around music. Basically, I didn't even care too much what I was doing, as long as I could be around music. Because so many times I'd be doing whatever it is I'm doing, you know, maybe at the venue, maybe, you know, in the studio, or like just, you know, doing something else, something random. And obviously there's always going to be music in whatever environment I'm in.
One of the other artists that we had on, she was saying how in her free time, she would be looking for, of course you don't have to be an artist to go to concerts, but her life, even outside of whatever she was doing, was always geared to that at the same time. So am I right to presume that only just makes the process easier, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Like I absolutely loved, you know, when I was managing that live music venue, it was amazing. Like we also had a lot of club nights, but at the end of the day, I was just always around music. Sometimes I step in if the sound engineer's double booked himself, you know, I just do my thing. I'm just always there around the music. So I just created my life so that I'm always around music. Basically, I didn't even care too much what I was doing, as long as I could be around music. Because so many times I'd be doing whatever it is I'm doing, you know, maybe at the venue, maybe, you know, in the studio, or like just, you know, doing something else, something random. And obviously there's always going to be music in whatever environment I'm in. And I'll just pick up on a sound or production technique, and my mind will immediately deconstruct it, and I'll be like, boom, gonna bring out my phone, write that in my notes, how I know I'm gonna understand it when I get back behind my MacBook, and just replicate that kind of technique and see how I can fit it into my current production toolbox.
Wow. This guy's a pro, man.
No, I'm so passionate, man. Yeah, thank God it's like.
No, I love the energy, man. I love it, because it shows. It naturally shows in like what you do. You know, it will just naturally, like, it won't be something that is forced. You know, I'm sure you kind of, I don't know word for word the quote, but when you find something that you love doing, it's not a job anyway in any kind of way. You know, and everything kind of outpours naturally in terms of how you do it. You know, and the quality. That kind of comes out of it too.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the time when I post stuff like on socials, I'm always, you know, describing my life as a journey through sound, an exploration through sound, because for me that's what it is at the end of the day. I feel like sound is just, it's so amazing, so wonderful. And it's funny, like even sometimes, like I'll hear things and people will be like, "Wow, how did you hear that?" But for me, it's because I'm every day I'm training my ears and making sure they're even more precise.
Yeah, I think that's when you know you're becoming a specialist, because just like any athlete or engineer or doctor, you can start to see and hear things that the average person can't. So that's something to get excited about. Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope. That's so cool. I think everyone should aim to pursue to be a specialist in something, because it's a I think it's a good self accomplishing thing as well. At the same time, obviously we all have our own purpose.
It certainly just elevates your self image a lot, regardless of whatever the field is. I mean, for me, it just so happened to be music, but whatever field you feel is really calling you. When you really get stuck in, like, and I mean I've been doing music for since I was 8, so over a decade now. Coming up to like 2 decades. When you really get stuck in, it's just like it's such a wonderful feeling. It really gives you such a strong sense of purpose. Which gives you just a great reason to keep chugging along and living life.
Yeah, definitely. And you're actually enjoying the journey, as opposed to, of course, you have goals and targets and ends and means, but you're enjoying it. And as you're enjoying it, you're not counting the steps on the ladder. And I think that's key, whatever we do, it's key that you're enjoying it, and it's truly a journey that you're embarking on. It's not something that, it's not like, when you're in school, when you're counting down the hours, last period, 20 minutes left, watching the clock, or you might be, there was a point I was working in retail in like uni, college times, and you're looking at the clock and thinking like, okay, when am I going to be able to clock out, when am I able to go? So yeah, that's cool, man. I think that's integral, that's integral. But on our topic for the day, and you kind of alluded to already before. It's funny, it's weird when guests come in and they do that. It's quite strange. In terms of music with substance, you mentioned artists like Kendrick Cole. I wanted to have a conversation with you, sorry, in regards to looking at the landscape of our culture today, where our attention span has gone down, and there's becoming less and less, less space for even, as you alluded to, like the quality of music like Lauryn Hill's, if you want to even go as far as that, go far back as far as that. There's less and less space basically for people, and in our culture, for people to accept, not even much accept, but really cherish the substance, of music that is relatable. It's normally, and there's nothing wrong. The club hits, the hype, the hot singles. But what are your observations when it comes to like the landscape of our culture, when it comes to music with substance and everything else, if you can categorize it kind of like that?
Well, that's interesting. The first thing I think of is actually a conversation I was having yesterday with a friend of mine, also a great music producer. So we've just started this thing where we're looking to make a lot of instrumentals for a lot of artists. Anyway, he was saying, we were just talking about the music as well, and he was saying like it's different, like people don't really gravitate to music with substance anymore. And I said to him, well, the reality is it tends to be an older generation that really pay attention to what they're hearing, right? That's what they really pay attention to, like lyrics and specificities of sound, whereas younger generations tend to focus more on visuals because, of course, that short attention span. Because whatever is being conveyed at all times when it's something visual, something you can see. Even if that's a picture or an image, it's always extremely appealing. And of course, sight is our most dominant sort of sense that we use to navigate the world. So everything just becomes all about how it looks, because that's the quickest way to convey a kind of brand or image, is through looks, because sound is going to take time because you need to listen to the whole file, and people don't have time for that,
It's true.
And, you know what I mean? So for me, I feel like that's been the stimulus for the degradation of, I guess, the quality of music being made nowadays. Generally, like I can't speak
Of course.
across the whole board, because of course there is always still great music
Of course, yeah.
being put out there. But of course, it just seems like it's hard to get away from the music that is lacking substance.
Yeah. No. It's true. Because
Almost
everywhere
impossible.
you go, the radio,
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram,
It's there,
YouTube.
man. Yeah, it can't be. You can't run away from it. So it's. I feel like that's really the main reason, because there's just such a massive information overload. Like there's so much information, and you know, no one's gonna live forever. So we're basically trying to, like, just before a test, we're trying to cram it all in.
Yeah. No, I fully agree.
And that's resulted in the shorter attention spans of, you know, a lot of people. I feel like just in general, I definitely feel like my attention span has dropped a lot. And that also reminds me of a quote I heard just yesterday, which is your only limitation is your attention span.
It's true though.
And
yeah.
that's some real stuff right there. I was about to swear. I don't know if you can. That's some real stuff right there. And the poverty of your imagination. They are your only limitations. And I was like, this is so deep, because I catch myself constantly losing focus. Like one of Anderson .Paak's lines in I can't remember the song. He says the hardest thing is to keep from being distracted, you know, and that is the hardest thing. It's so tough. Like it's so hard. Like I couldn't. It's one of the hardest things. Like, how do you stay focused on one thing for a prolonged period of time? Well, I mean, I actually recently discovered, and there's a great YouTube video called "How to Be 10 Times More Productive," which I aim to watch every day.
I have a feeling I've watched that before.
Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, the solution apparently is to do sprints where you focus for like 25 minutes, but even that is tough, man. So in general, I feel like it's partly due to the overload of information, partly due to the nature of how we perceive the world and how we can gather information, and the speed at which our different senses provide us with information, or with seemingly coherent information. And just the evolution of societies in general is becoming everything is just so saturated. Like everyone's dad, mum, and grandma does music. Like really and truly. Like sometimes I feel like, why should I say I do music? Of course I do music. Like, who doesn't do music nowadays? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just the way it is. However, I do have a very positive outlook that the best will always rise to the top. Or the quality will always shine.
Yeah, I agree. At least now. Yeah, I agree. At least now there, we do have a few. You mentioned already Kendrick Cole. Even though Kendrick hasn't dropped a project for so long.
Yeah, I mean, even some of our UK guys as well.
UK guys. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool to see. It's cool to hear. Yeah.
Does that, when you think of it though, does it frustrate you in any way? Like, because I get a sense that now to find that type of music, if I can say conscious music, where it's still good music, but it's more, it has more substance. It will live for longer. At least what I found, I think you can relate to, is that type of music, it tends to have a longer timeline, in terms of its relatability and, on top of the quality that it has too. But do you ever feel some kind of frustration that people are looking for that kind of music less and less? Or worry as an artist yourself creatively, that people...
I want to say, I don't think people are looking for it less and less. I just think people have fewer avenues to find it. Because, of course, majors are just taking the entire attention economy. Because really and truly, the only currency is attention at the end of the day. Because to even get anyone to purchase any product or service, you need first of all attention.
Yeah.
So the only currency, or at least when it comes to this sort of marketing, is attention. And it's just difficult because you You have billboards everywhere. Even if you're trying to start thinking of, okay, where can I find more niche and underground music? Before you know it, you got a billboard with Drake on.
I fully
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'll just listen to it.
Or when I open my
Nothing wrong
Spotify,
with
I'll
that,
see new releases and bank
Exactly.
lay singles out. Yeah.
And you're just like, can I really be bothered to go trawling, or should I just click this big button right in front of me?
Yeah, it's true.
It's a
But when you
struggle.
do find it, it's so satisfying though.
It really is. It really is, man. When you find like a niche, artist. Like, for me, a guy I've been listening to a lot recently is a guy called Berwin. He's so sick. He recently got nominated for a Mobo.
Okay.
He's got a tune called Snakes on My Nokia. Banger. Oh my
Is
god,
it?
absolute banger.
I'm gonna
The
check it out
sample at the
after,
start, everything, like, it's such a banging tune. He's fully wicked. Also, Benjamin AD, a wicked drummer called Amani. I used to work with, put me onto him. He's an amazing rapper as well. Like, this kind of music, exactly what it's so real. That is, for me, that is like music with substance, music that can last. Bowen, Benjamin AD, these kind of guys, doing real, real kind of stuff. Obviously, there's so many other like singers, Belko Bain, Joy Crooks. A lot of people just doing bits in the music scene, doing a lot of cool stuff.
So you said Benjamin AD, yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
man, he's a guy to check out. He's got a tune called Broke, banging tune.
Okay.
Had that on repeat for time. When I say time, and Snakes on My Nokia by Bowen as well. Yeah, man. I feel like it is harder to find music with substance, but of course it's always there.
Yeah.
Always gonna be people.
How about for you then, as an artist? I mean, do you think you would ever feel that pressure in terms of how you are creatively, what you actually create?
In terms of pressure to conform?
Yeah, to conform, or to gear it towards what people, are kind of going towards or gravitating to.
I mean, I feel
Play
like
both sides of the field, or I don't know.
yeah, it's an interesting question. I feel like as you get to higher echelons of the music industry and entertainment industry in general, by its very nature, because of what it's called, industry, finance is a key, if not the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So that pressure is just built into that system. For me personally, I realized this, and I've been realizing this over the past couple of years. I certainly have felt the pressure. The pressure's been there. I feel like any artist who's really starting to make it will inevitably feel that pressure more and more. However, what I'm doing now, because music isn't my only stream of income, of course. In fact, I think it would be. This might be unexpected, but for me, it wouldn't be ideal for me to just be known as just music, because I do so many things, man. Like, don't get me wrong, music is like my baby. Music has had me. Like when literally, like no one else in the entire world has had me.
Exactly.
Like no friends, no family, and I say that with chest, has had me. Music has been there, so obviously that's it. But I do so many other things, man. I also love cooking, love doing a bunch of stuff.
I don't know if you heard and saw like some of I don't know what to call it, but you heard Skepta's EP.
I haven't yet.
Yeah,
actually, that's
and some of the news that was circulating last week. But he said, don't know if he's gonna retire or not. Hopefully not. But he said that him just doing music would be a waste of his potential.
Exactly. And this brings me to the statement that was going to answer your question, which is that for me, now, because I have a lot of energy and I have a lot I want to give out to the world, I realized that I can actually fund my music career by myself, and I'm starting to, over the past year or so, I've started implementing systems that make sure I can put out exactly what I want to put out, and I don't have to be worried about the finances of it, because my finances already patterned. I've already, because I've been able to do it. So now I can just put out the music, however well it does financially, but really and truly, the main aim has always been spiritual fulfillment. So
Respect that. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's so cool, man. And I think it's so dope as well, because when I think about it, going back again, you know, to what Skepta said and what you're saying too, it's like in the day and age we are in, you don't have to stick to just doing one thing anyway. You don't have to. You don't have to be conformed, you know, even as an artist, it's just one type, to stick to one kind of genre. I think Drake is probably the best. This guy does everything now.
Yeah.
Example of that. But you don't have to stay in one lane in what you're doing. No.
Not at all, man. I mean, it's really just up to you. At the end of the day, you know, an artist's creativity is their asset. You know, as much as I hate to use a business word when it comes to creativity, but really and truly it is. But really, I mean, you could even see like words like asset as like a creative word, because really it's just something you provide and you keep giving. You know, and that's just something you got to hone. And creativity is, of course, the most valuable skill, you know, because solutions to problems are not. I feel like solutions to problems are, of course, logical, but I feel like logic is intrinsically creative. Like that's what people value, and that's what people pay, you know, exponential amounts for. The ability to solve problems creatively.
Wow, that's it. You're dropping a lot of gems, man. You're dropping a lot of gems.
I'm a young guy. I don't know much.
What?
Oh, look at this
already?
young face. No, that's what it's funny though. That's what I deal with all the time. Like, so like, cause I look so young, man. I look so young. I mean, I love it. Obviously, people want to look young. You're looking young. We're all looking young in here. But it's like, a lot of the time I deal with like people like, oh, you're young. What would you know? And a lot of the time, you know, these people have firstly considerably older than me, and they haven't taken ownership and responsibility of their lives to any considerable degree.
Of course.
Whereas I have, because in a sense I felt like I didn't have to, but of course I chose to, you know.
Of course, yeah.
And it was extremely tough because you know, for me, I left home when I was 17. I was doing all, you know, I had a lot of personal issues, a lot of things, a lot of systems in my way. But really and truly, I'm even more than that. I try not to even like use the past, because I try and just focus on the now. As of recently, extra book I'm reading. You know, and for me, it's been amazing. I'm so glad I struggled. My God, struggle is such a privilege, I've been realizing, because people who have never gone through any struggle, like nowadays, I kind of be like, man, I wish you could understand the sense of fulfillment I feel when my head hits my pillow at night. Especially when I remember what my life was like 5-6 years ago, how the struggle was like. Like, you know, it was a mad one I won't even go into, but it's like, for me, being, I guess, put on the path of most resistance has led to a life of so much fulfillment, man. So much fulfillment.
The greatest things attained anyway are not, you know, easily attainable, you know. So I definitely relate to that. It's funny because I was even watching an Instagram IG live video today where someone was, he was detailing how his wife, who conceived 3 kids, chosen for all 3 of them not to take any morphine or anesthesia or anything like that, but purposely to appreciate, you know, the pain and the struggle for what's to come at the end. And it's very powerful. It's so powerful, because naturally as human we try and escape that, right? We do try and escape that in whatever way possible, but it builds so much, you know. It does so much. Oh
yeah, I mean, I feel like the depth of emotions we can experience are essentially infinite. And something like that, you know, birthing a child into the world, that's like, obviously we'll never know, but that's a deep well of emotion being experienced. And the fact that she's chosen not to go on any morphine means that, like, immediately and psychologically, the value she will attach to her kids different compared to if she had chosen to go on any sort of anesthetic. Different, you know, because Yeah, I mean, I've got.
You gotta be put different for that, man. You gotta be put different for that.
Come on, that reminds me of a post-it because I got about maybe 100 now post-it to my flat, just with random quotes, things. And one of them, I mean, this is, you have to understand this quote in a specific context, kind of like the one you just described. One of the quotes is, "Pain is the process of true passion being born." Yeah, it's up there somewhere. I think on my right speaker.
Yeah.
The one I don't use. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty. It's the right one.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like one of, I think, life's hidden gems. Appreciating that, which is so cool. So, in terms of yourself, man, what you got planned? If you can, let us know what you got planned for this year.
What have I got planned for this year? Oh man,
I know there's 5 months left, but there's still time.
Yeah, damn, only 5 months. I got a lot of stuff planned, man. I've been gigging a lot recently. I had 2 gigs last week, but one of them was at a production studio for a great company called Unjam. They're a digital venue looking to, really just change the landscape of performances, of live and recorded performances. So yeah, that's going to be coming out soon. That was shot, amazingly. They had some wicked cameras that look like Transformers, so I'm sure the visuals are going to be on point. Sound engineer as well, spoke to him, he knows his stuff. So that's going to be cool. So I've got some more, I want to do some more live gigs. I also want to put on some more events. It's like a month ago or so, I was putting on an event at a private members club in Haggerston. That was really cool. Called the King's Head. That was a lot of fun.
Place,
yeah, it's an interesting spot. Real interesting spot. That was really cool. I did that with a guy called Adam Hughes, wicked musician as well, wicked pianist and producer. I want to be doing more. I guess really and truly, I kind of want to get back out there. Like, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff I want to be doing. Exactly, bro. Like, people will miss being out, and it's funny. Like, even the gig on Tuesday, like, people were just like, "Yeah, I'll come." I didn't even have to. I wasn't even like, "Yo, it's been ages." They already knew it's been ages. They were like, "I'll come." Like, people were just down to go out. Like, people want to leave their house.
It sounds funny,
man. Fair enough, bro. Like, it's been crazy. So I want to do like a lot of live stuff. That's like something I can do short term. That's a short term goal. I also really want to start working on some more musical projects, because I've got vaults. Really, I've got like a vault of music.
I think every artist has a vault. I think I feel like every artist's vault is like full of listeners. I'm a listener, and I can only imagine your vault as well. It's like a cookie jar that we want access to. we need to access that vault. We need to. But sorry.
I mean, at one point, I won't be here forever, and at one point, that vault will be released.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, for me, music is really, really for spiritual fulfillment. Like, since I was about 17, I feel like I've really just been on my own. I had barely, if any, in fact, pretty much no contact with my family. Really just doing everything on my own, having to navigate all societal systems. Obviously, I say on my own, but of course, I had so many other people who became family through that process. But it's been an interesting one, and I've documented a lot of the journey through music. There's just so much. I mean, there's a tune I've got called Family, which is like, the first time I played that, I love it. You see, that reminds me of another quote of mine, which is, "The only truth is action."
Yeah, that's true as well. That's 100% true.
Because for me, like, whenever I want to get something done, I always want it done yesterday.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same.
But that one broke out of the vault because of the stars aligning on a particular night when I had a gig. Anyway, long story short, when I played that first time, Notting Hill Arts Club, a couple Novembers ago, maybe November 2019, half the crowd, tears.
Shit.
I was like, wow, this is just one from the vault.
You make the crowd like that. That's different, man.
Yeah, it was a deep one. It was a deep one. That tune's called Family. I think it's on my SoundCloud. If you want to give that a spin.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. It's like, because for me, it's all just sound. Like, genres are just like colors and templates you can use. But really, the emotion is what you want to get. So yeah, man. I mean, more music on the way.
EP maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, definitely on the way. I want to start working towards. In fact, I wanted to drop an album. I decided to put it on hold because of everything that was going on the past couple of years, though. But yeah, we move, and it's just not even a setback. Just more time to perfect it, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, just putting out more music, man. Gonna facilitate some more events as well. Now we can actually go out and enjoy ourselves and listen to live music. Oh man, I'm gonna do a lot more jams as well. If you're around East London, come through. Yeah. I'm gonna be jamming like in a bunch of places.
Sweet.
I recently put up a video of me jamming at a wicked joint called the Jago.
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yes.
Come on, man. I was I was there like with these sunnies, but in black. I was playing my guitar. I was vibing.
The Burna Boy glasses.
Exactly, all of that. Burna Boy, Migos, Kurt Cobain. I love these because they make it look like I haven't got a single bill to pay in the world, which couldn't be further from the truth. But it is what it is. You can dream one day. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing many more jams. I want to be back on stage, like in any capacity. Sick. Whether I'm headlining or supporting or just, playing maybe, just guitar or just like vibing on the mic, anything, man. Yeah. I just want to be close to people again. And an audience and a crowd and be part of that audience and crowd. I got so many gigs and nights I want to see and, festivals to go to, festivals to play.
Yeah. Sounds busy, man. Sounds lit. Sounds high. I love the energy, bro. I love it. But bro, I can't imagine we're literally approaching the hour mark. Time flown by.
Certainly did.
But I'm gonna holler you for these gigs.
Yes, please.
Off camera, 100%. Definitely do that. But the links will be in the description. But where can people find you? In terms of the socials.
Socials, Insta, it's Jay Johnson Official. Facebook, Jay Johnson. Music or something along those lines. Hey, if I hate to, you see, because I'm such an in-person guy. I like doing things like management. Socials. Anyway, you go to jjohnson.co.uk, you'll see it all. That's Jay Johnson with an H.
Yeah. I appreciate you're still on SoundCloud as well, because I still have mine. I'm never gonna delete it because there are some. It's like how can I say? There are some lost treasures on that app. Mixes and things like that. But a couple years ago, I respect that, man. That's so good. Another reason for me to keep using the app now. As well.
Nice, yeah, for sure, man.
Dope.
Everything's gonna be up there. My whole discography is gonna be up on my website. I took some stuff off Spotify recently. Yeah, and just But anyway, if you go on jjohnson.co.uk, you'll see all that good stuff. I really wanted to do a second series of Loops on the Roof. If you're putting my Insta, you'll know what that is. So basically, I've been very, very lucky. So what I'm saying at the moment, I got a nice roof terrace and I was doing some loops on the roof last summer. That was really cool. I wanted to do it this summer, but this weather's so temperamental. Plus there's a lot of stuff on now, especially out, because we can't go out, because last summer it was, everything was locked off. But yeah, still looking into that as well. I haven't forgotten about that. And more stuff on the way.
Yeah,
so I can say.
That's dope, bro. I love this, man. I love this conversation.
Likewise.
And the ones that you love, we say, it's never not the last time. Definitely not the last time. Be dope to have you on, even with another artist, sometime later this year. But I loved it, man. I know love. I feel the love, feel the energy.
Appreciate it,
I love it, man.
Feelings
so
mutual.
Much.
Come on.
But guys, the links will be in the description. You heard from the man himself. This guy, he's a jack of all trades. Watch out for this guy, literally. Watch out for this guy, because he's doing a lot, and a lot's gonna come out of it. I'm 100% sure of that.
Yeah, come on. I like to work, under the radar.
And he's gonna close it off.
Come on.
But yeah, guys, thank you for watching, for listening. And if you have any questions or anything else, send us a message, or you can drop some comments in the comments section. Unscripted. Yeah. Peace.